They called me crazy, but I finally did it. The actual name I came up with was the Iron Axiom. So, everything. I love everything like Greek language because it's just cool.
Yeah.
So, axiom means truth, unshakable principle. It's rooted in the word axios, which means worthy. And then I tried doing some research, like, all right, there's got to be a little bit more I can like juice out of this.
Yeah.
And so I did some research on like my last name, and it means one to change.
How about that?
So the Greek word for that is metanoia. So I settled on like axiom, AXM. And yeah, that means like one to change, discipline to like transform your heart, mind, and spirit. So what better name than that?
I mean, hearing that, I'm honored to be the first guest.
Yeah. So this show is like nothing too specific other than people like sharing their stories on, I guess, like their second chances. Because obviously, like, you know about like my whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go right into it. Like, what was that like for you, kind of like experiencing not only that, but like everything with me working at Powerhouse from start to finish?
Wow. Well, you came in, you were guns blazing, and you had an energy about you that was definitely infectious. And the big inside joke was always that it seems like everyone knows who you are somehow, and you know who everyone is. We immediately connected just with our bodybuilding connection. So we grew just a true friendship from there. And from there, you were a workhorse. You were a guy that was living at the gym, doing whatever it took to be successful. You always did right by others, which I always appreciated. And you were a man of ideas. A man with a book of ideas.
Literally a book.
I should say. So seeing kind of the struggles you were going through, we kind of connected on some stuff like behind the scenes personally, and I know your background, a lot of your history. Honestly, this is the first time I've gotten to see you since everything has kind of happened and to see how you're doing. So that's kind of the first thing is just how are you doing?
I'm managing a lot better than I was because it was pretty obvious to everyone that I was just working myself into oblivion as like as a distraction. But doing a lot better now. Still have like hard days, of course, but ever since everything happened, I kind of felt almost like a relief. Like, all right, after I got out of the hospital, it was just like a hard reset. Everybody that didn't support me, I found out like immediately, like blocked me on social media even.
Really?
Yeah. So like I looked on the analytics, and the day that I kind of made that post, all of a sudden 38 people unfollowed me or like blocked me. It was almost relieving to see because now I wasn't as involved with so many people I didn't need to be.
Yeah.
But also just like the stress of trying to be like a people pleaser was gone. And now I only had like one job to focus on, which was my security job. But I mean, things were like guns blazing even after I got out of the hospital. Because after I got out, well, the night I got out, I was looking on YouTube and I found out that my first bodybuilding coach and mentor that I had after the Marines, Jason Lowe, he died.
I didn't know that you worked with him.
Yeah, he was coaching me for the Daytona show in 2023, and I had to drop out because of rhabdo and just me not following the plan, just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I found out that my boss at the security company, he died. Literally 2 days after I got out. And then all of a sudden I was put in a position like, oh my God, you're alive. Hey, welcome back. And you need to say something at Brian's memorial on Monday. So I was like, okay.
Did it feel like you had to hit kind of like the rock bottom point that you did to kind of now have this return and all the growth that you're going through now?
Yeah, because I was in the hospital for 16 days.
Jeez.
So it was definitely like a long, hard reset. The best part was sleep. They gave me medication that made me sleep for like 11 hours straight.
How's your sleep now?
I mean, a lot better than it was.
Really? That's great.
Because they gave me like the same sleep medication. So now I'm getting like the amount of REM sleep that I need for 8 hours a night. And because I'm not as involved with so many people, I can say like, all right, I don't need to answer anybody. I'm going to bed.
Jeez. So you had some of obviously the people that blocked you or whatever and whatever. What about the support?
The support came very gradually. It wasn't all at once. Yeah, of course, I want to give a huge shout out to Danny Swole.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Danny Swole because he tracked me down in front of the gym.
I still don't know how he did it.
That's for him to tell. But he has a lot of friends in high places. And when I was in the cop car, I saw him all of a sudden walk up with the officer, and he was crying. He gave me a hug, told me he was going to handle everything, make everything okay. And he was the one who picked me up from the hospital, too.
That's awesome.
And he gave me a home. He said, you know, whatever you're thinking right now, you always have a home with me. And me being a fan of bodybuilding, I saw Danny as like such a person of like high caliber.
Absolutely, yeah.
So hearing that from him, how could I not feel supported, and how could I not feel like somewhat emotional about that?
That's amazing. That's really awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that. And yeah, Danny's the best.
I mean, yeah, I was like really burnt out of like everything. I was burnt out of bodybuilding. I was burnt out of training myself, training people, even like coming up with ideas. Everything just kind of went dead for a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch Nick's strength and power videos. That's how down bad I was. But it took a little bit. But what really got me out of the hospital was just my unfinished business on stage. But also I can't ignore the divine intervention that happened either. So if God says I'm not done, I'm not done.
Wow. So do you look at this as like a second chance?
I do.
Yeah. So what are you doing differently this time around?
Not being a people pleaser and just carrying around a bigger attitude of I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you like me, if you don't like me. If you want to be close to me, you're going to have to do a lot more actions than say the words everybody wants to hear when they're down bad.
Yeah.
If you need anything,
I'm here.
I'm here. You can call
Thoughts
me
and prayers.
anytime. It's like, dude, that's what led me to wanting to commit suicide in the first place, because I feel like I was very proactive in asking for help, and yet nobody answered the phone. those same people that came up to me saying, if you need anything, they didn't answer the phone. They didn't answer a text. They weren't answering their DMs.
Yeah.
So how could I not feel like betrayed and alone in that moment? So now when I walk into a gym, it's kind of peaceful, like being alone. And the people that don't like me, they just don't bother me.
It's interesting because, I have a similar experience, but it was more so a health issue. So probably about, 6 years ago at this point, I had first gotten into bodybuilding, and I loved it. I grew up like a competitive athlete my whole life, so I was always looking to kind of fill that void to compete in something. And I grew up like lifting weights with my dad in the basement. He always had the Arnold encyclopedias, so I was big into the history of bodybuilding. So when I got into it, I was 100% all in. And then like about a year into it, I started having like a lot of stomach pains in my lower left side, and I was in and out of the hospital and ended up finding out that I had like a severe case of diverticulitis. And then eventually had to go into like emergency surgery where they took out a majority of like my large intestines. And it was a pretty traumatic surgery. I had a colostomy bag for almost a full year, and definitely changed perception on everything because I wasn't training, couldn't eat, couldn't really live the lifestyle of a bodybuilder. Felt like that was kind of taken away from me. And I had to find my identity as just a normal guy again, working a job. But it just kind of felt like there was a void missing. So really until I met my now wife, who she's a natural bodybuilding pro, Megan, you obviously know her. She really motivated me to get back into the lifestyle myself. And honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably never would have gotten back into it. And now looking at our life together now and how we spend our days, I can't imagine it not being a part of my life. So I look at that as kind of my second chance. And one thing I used to always tell myself in the hospital was I was so anxious over pleasing people. And I still am to this day, really, really, really bad. I'm always worried about what people think about me. I want to do the right thing by people, but with that comes a lot of anxiety. So for me, that's something I'm working through every day, growing. And I think that's something that we kind of connected on too, is we both kind of had some of those problems, troubles kind of behind the scenes. So every day it's something I'm battling with. And it's funny, you don't know that guys like us are going through those types of things because we may not be saying it or we may not be showing it. But we are. We all have our battles.
Yeah, because you and I carried ourselves in like the exact opposite ways. I was always working on something or like physically running around, and you've always been like the calm, monotone.
Yeah, and that's something I've always struggled with. Is I've always been laid back. Like I've always been kind of a calm person. So when I'm struggling or going through something, it's not always easy unless you're my mom or dad or my wife or brother, sister. Like you're probably not going to know something's wrong with me, and that's an issue. That's something I've worked on with trying to communicate better with people and get across the things I'm feeling and what's going on emotionally. Because for a long time I thought that was weak. That was kind of the weak thing to do, was to ask for help or say that you're struggling. So I was always someone that just buried it deep. And I went into the weight room and I lifted my problems away. But you can't do that forever. So now kind of at this stage of my life, being married and wanting to start a family, every day I'm trying to work on myself and improve on all those things.
I kind of saw like the reality of how people react to mental health.
Yeah.
Right now it's a huge unpopular, almost like trend for mental health. People, why not support this, and this? Why wouldn't you support mental health? And then I see, like, even people will post it themselves with these really motivational captions. Even, like, a ton of people here locally, I'm not going to, but I can think of 10 people off the top of my head. They'll post about something about their mental health journey, they'll post like a gym progress pic and a really like motivational caption. And then, of course, I kind of came out publicly that I was like suffering. Like, you can't get more clear than that. I posted my own eulogy pretty much.
I do think that as traumatic as that was, like from my point of view, and waking up that morning to the chaos of everything going on, it hit me deep because I knew for you to get to that point that something was wrong. And the first thing I felt was honestly like guilt. And I remember talking to Megan, like, what more could I have done? Was there anything I could have done differently? You play through all those things in your head. And with mental health, you're so right. It's like the buzzword right now. And just one thing I got to say is for the guys out there that are still in the mindset of like, it's not a thing and it's all in your head and this and that. Like I was that way for my entire life until it affected me. And I've seen it affect other guys in my life. And some of the toughest guys I know, strongest guys I know. So the guys that think they're tough by saying mental health isn't a thing or people are doing things for attention, that's the big one that kills me. They're not tough. They're not who they think they are. And I pray for them. Like I hope the day that they have to go through something, they're able to kind of find the strength within to work through it because, yeah, it's a really tough place to be. I can't even imagine like everything that was going on with you. So thankfully there's people out there like Danny that do care, and it's just awesome to see now that you're on the climb back up.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't post that for attention. I just wanted people to know I was gone.
Yeah.
And the thing that frustrates me with this whole social media mental health thing today is they'll post like a really like motivational caption of like, you know, them and their mental health journey, but they will like blatantly treat others around them like shit because they went through this, that, and the other. Is like, I understand you're going through your own thing, but that gives you no excuse to like treat other people like shit or like blatantly ignore other people. And even after everything happened, that happened to me. Like these same people that posted about like mental health this, mental health that, you got this, treat people like this. It's just like, you blatantly treated me like shit. You blatantly ignored me. And I was just trying to check up on you, and I was just trying to say hi. So that sucked a lot, but that also kind of fuels my attitude of like, I don't care. You want to be close to me, like prove it.
Exactly. It's an actions thing at this point now for you. Like words are meaningless at this point. And people show their true colors when you go through times like this. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
I actually spoke with Tiffany Sams at a Diamond State Iron event, and she honestly said something that like blew my mind, and it kind of opened another perspective for me. She said, if you end your life now, you'll only be, I guess, like living your worst fear of like being forgotten. If you end your life now, you will be forgotten. But if you don't end your life and you do more things and you chase what you want to chase, only then at the end of that road will you not be forgotten.
Yeah. And that's living.
Yeah.
That's living a life. And who better to say it than her?
She's the best.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Yesterday I was at the gym talking to a mutual friend of ours, kind of about something similar because obviously as a bodybuilding fan, you know everything that's been going on with Martin Fitzwater and all that drama. And I brought up, I was like, it's funny. I see all these people making these videos attacking this young man who unfortunately had a really bad moment in public with a million cameras on him. And all these people making videos bashing him, seeing in their bio like religious quotes and doing right by others and all this crap. And it just makes me laugh because it's like, you're not living that. You're just saying that that's, you know, how you want to live your life, but you're not actually doing it. Yeah, just that was something I thought of, just kind of hearing your perspective on the whole situation, because you don't know what's going on in other people's heads. I've had people try to guess, like when I'm going through tough times, how I'm feeling, and I know that can be frustrating. So something that was really frustrating when you were going through your situation was how many people were trying to tell me why you did what you did or why you were going through what you're going through. And that's not up to anyone except you. And I just want to say I'm proud of you now for working through it, because I can't imagine. I really cannot imagine, like, to get to that point, because I've been down and depressed before. But I'm just happy that you know that there are people that love you and support you, and will continue to kind of show that through their actions, not just their words.
I had no idea people were speculating to you on like why I did it.
Well, unfortunately for me, not to make anything about myself, but I was, at the time of this all happening, I was your manager. So I had so many people reaching out to me about you. So that was tough. But luckily, like, I had Danny as kind of a resource to let me know how things were going and how you were doing and stuff. So he really helped a lot through that whole situation.
Yeah. And like about like the Martin Fitzwater situation, everyone needs to like relax. Everyone just let's breathe a little bit. He didn't kill anybody.
Nothing illegal.
He didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything absolutely heinous. He's top 4 in the world.
Yeah.
Top 4 in the world. He just beat Samson Dauda, so he's not exactly a horrible bodybuilder. I'm a fan of him. When you're at the top level, just imagine that amount of pressure on you, let alone the pressure you have on yourself. Because the pressure you have on yourself is 10 times more than the world puts on you.
Yeah. Anyone that does bodybuilding competitively at any sort of successful level knows that no one's going to be harsher on yourself than you.
Yeah, and Martin didn't exactly have a sunshine and rainbows upbringing either.
Oh God, no. And he's spoken about that before. I guess my big problem with it was, like, he's a competitor. So in the heat of the moment, yeah, you shouldn't be celebrating someone losing and, yeah, shake hands, whatever. But just to see people like attack the guy on social media and wanting all of his sponsors taken away, and pretty much ruin this guy's life over like a 5 minutes of bad decisions, it's just crazy to me. Me and Megan got to meet Martin and Alexis at the meet and greet at the Arnold like 2 days before this all happening. I can't even tell you how genuinely nice he was. Of course, when I'm doing those meet and greets, I'm so nervous. I don't want to take up their time. They're a day out from the show. I just want to be like, hi, good luck, quick picture, big fan. He genuinely was asking us questions about ourselves, and I could tell he was just a good guy. So not that I know him at all, but I think what he showed on stage is the competitive side of him. I don't think that's who he is as a man.
Also, let's be honest here. Like, as exciting as like show lineups have been, bodybuilding, like drama-wise, has become very boring lately.
Yep.
It's like you're telling me 2 guys can't like shove each other.
Yeah.
Just like Phil Heath and Kai Green did.
That's why they were known as one of the best rivalries in bodybuilding history.
It's like I know we're not making this like the WWE here, but like, let's see some shit.
I know.
Like, give us some shit.
And like you said, he didn't punch him across the face. Like,
yeah, he didn't shove him on stage.
And I'm a huge fan of Nick Walker. I mean,
yeah.
Nick Walker is probably my favorite open bodybuilder. I actually had him winning the Arnold personally, but that's another conversation. But yeah, man, like I don't know what it is with people. And it's funny, I had a quick conversation with Danny at the Arnold, And we were talking about some of the stuff he deals with on social media. Because I told him, I was like, I cannot imagine dealing with the stuff you make with the leg videos and all the garbage he deals with. And I'm like, it's interesting. Like, the hate always comes from below you. I said, it's no one above you that's hating on you. He's not getting heat from Jay Cutler or Phil Heath or any of these guys. He's getting videos made of himself from people that he doesn't even know. People that are on social media, and I don't know, they might live in their mom's basement. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just like people hating on Martin Fitzwater. How many Olympias have you been to? How many shows have you won? How many mental health crash outs have you had in your entire life? Have you ever been a Division I athlete? Have you ever tried bodybuilding to a very serious level? When's the last time you turned pro? And it's like, criticism mostly comes from those who have no idea what your world is even like.
Yeah.
And I'm on the boat of, I don't think he should have lost his sponsors. I pray for Martin, because when I met him at the Olympia, he seems like a very genuine, good dude. And look at his attitude, like, around Prague, around the Olympia. This dude lives, breathes, and like, he worships bodybuilding. Like, this is his world. And I know he's so grateful for all the success he's had and he's going to have, because, you know, he's made bad decisions in the past, but he's bounced back from it.
Yeah, I think, to go off kind of what we were talking about earlier, like, he needed to hit this rock bottom. Like, I only think we're going to see the best Martin now in the future, personally. Similar to you, I thought the sponsors thing was kind of lame. The fan interaction stuff that he was doing after the fact, it probably wasn't great, and I think that's probably what did him over. But I don't know. I'd like to think that if you're working with a company, like, they have your back when it comes to things like that.
Or at least have a discussion.
Yeah, but I know at the end of the day, it's business, and if they think it's going to cost them money, then that's a decision they get to make as a business. But personally, I'm not going to stop buying protein powder from a company because a guy didn't shake someone's hand on stage. I don't think it's that deep.
No, it's not. And with everyone making bodybuilders like look evil, or, you know, creating a lot more negative hype than it is, let's just break this down for a little bit. It's bodybuilding. We are posing half naked on stage with a fake tan on, and we're seeing who looks the best.
Yeah.
It is like
the most superficial.
Like, what are we doing?
I know.
Yes, it's competitive. Yes, it's fun. And let's be honest, it's a cult. It's not for everybody. Bodybuilding is for the less than 1%, fans included. It is a cult. It's not meant to be mainstream. At the Olympia, it's advertised, okay, you're going to see the best bodybuilders in the world. Why are we obsessed with what's attainable and what's not? Do you go to the circus because you think that lifting 400 pounds above your head is attainable?
Yeah.
Or swallowing a sword is attainable?
To me, it's no different than going to an NBA game and watching a guy that's 6'8" run across the court in half a second, jump up, catch a ball, slam it. Like, they're aliens. Like, these are guys that are just, like you said, they're the 1% of the 1%. What's really interesting to me, though, and the Martin things now kind of brings a lot of this up, is why is there so much, or at least why do you think there's so much mental struggles when it comes to bodybuilding?
Social media. It's because if you're on top, you're going to get hate. If you're on the bottom, you're going to get hate. If you're a dude who has zero social media presence, somebody's going to hate you for something in real life.
Oh yeah.
You accidentally cut somebody off in traffic. Somebody's going to hate you. If you're like working at Chipotle and you like skimp out on somebody's like double chicken, that person's going to hate you. You're going to get hate on no matter what you do, no matter what you're good at, no matter what you're bad at, no matter what you say. I remember the day I came back to Powerhouse after the suspension. I was telling you and Mia a story of what happened at work before I decided to go to Vegas for the holidays. So long story short, we were letting everyone out of the club. It was 2 a.m. The place was already closing. And all of a sudden, a fight broke out. And the guy knocked the other one on the ground, but the guy standing up decided to pull a knife and tried to stab him. He cut open both of his femoral arteries. And when we're talking about people's reaction to things, especially on social media, I saw firsthand hundreds and hundreds of people in Center City, Philadelphia, laugh, film, and like jump up and down, making a joke and spectacle out of it, like the Eagles just scored a touchdown, while this man is bleeding out and screaming for help. People don't give a fuck, like, who you are, what happened to you. They will leave you dying on the cold ground, and I got to see that firsthand. I was the first one to help him. I was the one that had to put a tourniquet on his leg, radio for another one. Me and two of the other managers were the only ones to help him. While nobody was doing crowd control, everybody pulled out their phones, filmed it, laughed, cheered, all while getting in the way and giving all sorts of the wrong medical advice.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I don't know where that comes from, like that need in situations like that, or just in general to like make it a social media thing. I don't know if it's just the idea of like, hey, maybe I'm going to post this video and this is going to be the one that gets a million views and all of a sudden I'm going to get famous. Like, I don't really understand in general, like across the board, like everything needs to be recorded now. I mean, even just at the gym, it's like 90% of the people at the gym, they're in there recording themselves, which I understand like once in a while doing it, but I just don't know why it always needs to be kind of a spectacle, just everything, even something as traumatic as that.
I mean, you look at gladiator games we had back in the day.
Yeah.
I can only compare it to that. Like literal gladiator games where like people are killing each other for sport.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever going to get better. It seems the worst in the fitness industry.
Yeah, Philly, like, I don't see it getting any better. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
I mean, also, long story short, he's alive now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's alive. We put tourniquets on his legs and like threw him in the first cop car that showed up. And I was like, from like hair to my socks, soaked in this man's blood, and people were still laughing and recording the whole thing. And people were still in the way of us carrying him to the cop car, like just blocking the way on their phones. Like this real shit isn't happening.
Unbelievable.
But I mean, the only way I can put it is like people are weird when it comes to anything actually traumatic or mental health related because of social media, everything's really desensitized. And everything is a trend until somebody dies.
Yeah.
And then they're forgotten a week later.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's always trying to one-up each other, too. Again, even with, like...
My trauma's better than your trauma.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, well, who's he to have any problems? It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like, dude, this is not a comparison game. It's storytelling.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about that. It's just, it makes me sad.
I mean, that's also why I wanted to start this podcast in the first place, is because obviously you and I aren't the only ones to go through like really serious like life experiences or a mental health crisis. And that's why like the word axios means so much to me, because it really like made me pop up a question in my head like, worthy. What makes me wake up every day and say, I am worthy? What am I worthy of? And that's what I want to ask everyone that comes on the podcast. Like, what did you go through to wake up one day and go, I am worthy? What are you worthy of? It's kind of like a different way to word, like, what are you living for? What are you chasing? And what makes what you have and who you are now, was it worth suffering for?
Yeah, I guess when you go through something mentally or physically that's traumatizing, the biggest thing when you work through it and that first day, it almost feels like, I don't know, like the handcuffs are kind of ripped off and you can finally breathe is like the best way I could describe it, whether it's mental or physical. I've kind of always told myself everything is, I'm an actions person, and I try to show how I care about people, and even how I care about myself through my actions. So I've always been a very disciplined person. So that's where bodybuilding kind of comes into play. But I mean, every day to me, I'm kind of trying to prove my worth, if that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a mental struggle. Like there's days where you don't think you're doing enough, or days you don't think you're good enough. And that's where you do need support, and that's where you lean on people. And I'm lucky enough to have Megan and my parents and my siblings, people that really care about me. But for me, it's always been about putting one foot in front of the other, always moving forward. If you lose, you learn from it. I've made so many freaking mistakes in my life, and I continue to make so many mistakes, but I learn from them. That's something I always try to do, is learn from them. And now for me, it's just, I don't know to kind of answer that question of like when I'll feel worthy or what that is. Like some people might say, oh, it's an accomplishment, or it's like it's getting a pro card, or whatever it might be. I've kind of learned, and I'm sure you've had a similar experience, that after going through so many like health issues and mental issues, that the journey really is the best part of this whole process. And I try to tell myself that every single day. You can take like a bodybuilding prep, for example, like your head's always kind of set on that date of the show, getting on stage, but it's that 16 to 20 weeks that's the experience, that's the process. And it's such a privilege. And that's something I try to tell myself every single day now when I wake up. It's a privilege that I woke up. It's a privilege that I get to make breakfast, eat breakfast, drink water, do all just the basic things to kind of get my day started. But from there, it's being a good person to others. Like I mentioned earlier, I want people to feel good when they're around me. That's something that's always just given me fulfillment. Any job I've had or anything I've done in life, I've always wanted to serve others. So I remember back like when I was in high school and I thought about things I wanted to do as like a career, it was always centered around helping others and being involved with people, just because I feel like I've had a lot of experiences that I can share with others, and I have the perspective to kind of see what people might be going through, even if I don't totally know what they're going through and I totally don't know like what that visceral emotion that they're dealing with is. I can at least relate and then put into perspective on that level and hopefully kind of build a relationship with people and help them. And to be honest, that really gives me a lot of fulfillment.
The hardest thing to definitely do nowadays, to serve without praise.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it says in the Bible, I think Matthew chapter 6, chapter 7, Jesus is giving a Sermon on the Mount, and he's saying, do not let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. And what that's referencing is to give and serve humbly and generously without praise, to not even pat yourself on the back in private, and with people recording everything. Jesus talks about you're only going to get one of two possible rewards in this world. Either the praise from people here on earth or a reward from God. And you can only pick one. Sure, you can boast about how good of a person you are, what you did, but it's not going to, that action is not going to get you into heaven. It's what you do behind closed doors. It's the person you are behind closed doors when the camera's off. People with like Bible verses in their bio, or I literally put in my bio, insert meaningful thing here. And it's a joke because they post one thing on social media, but they're a person of domestic violence behind closed doors. They, mock people behind closed doors. They'll talk shit on other people over very minuscule things. And I feel like also through this podcast, I want people to take a honest look in the mirror, being like, I am a follower of Christ, and I'll boldly say that. My relationship with Christ is not measured in attendance. You could go to church every single Sunday and still be a shitty person. Straight up. I don't care how many Bible verses you memorize or highlighted. If you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person. Going to church for like a year straight, like for 52 Sundays in a row, but you still beat your dogs, you still beat your wife, you still abuse your kids, you still criticize and judge others harshly for nothing. Who are you to judge another human being? Because the only one worthy of judging is God. And as humans, we need to chill out a little bit on the judgment, on the comparison, on the criticism, because, okay, sure, let's criticize Martin Fitzwater for what he did on stage, but nobody's holding you accountable for what you have done.
Exactly.
Sure, we have all of social media holding him accountable, but the only reason they're typing what they're typing is because nobody is holding them accountable for what shitty things they're doing in their personal lives.
And if they saw him in person, they'd probably ask for a picture.
Yep, 100%. It happens to every bodybuilder and fitness personality that I've known. They've said that their haters will come to them in person to take a picture, say, hey, what's up, man? Can you sign this? Can you sign that? And with the world of even comparison, what helped me in the hospital was I wrote a page or two in my journal, and it goes something like, I'll read it when I eventually bring it, but comparison is not only the thief of joy, it is the thief of the life you could have had. Comparison is the thief of the person you could have become, the money you could have made, the opportunities you could have taken advantage of. Comparison can totally rob you of the security you're so worthy of, can rob you of just any and all accomplishments that you are destined to do, but comparison made you afraid to even try. And that's why I bodybuild even when I'm depressed, is because even when I don't want to train, even when I don't want to do cardio, and there are a lot of days where I'm in my head of, I'm not going to be the best. Look at my structure. Look at this. I'll get down on myself. I've never been in like true professional shape. But what else would I do? I'm still going to be crazy. I might as well be crazy and jacked. I'm still going to be depressed. I might as well be depressed and jacked. It's like, how are you? I'm sad, but I have muscles.
It's funny because I almost feel like I was paralyzed by kind of that comparison for a while with wanting to even start competitive bodybuilding myself. That actually kind of rung like a bell with me, because that was a big reason I didn't start for so long, was even though I was a huge fan and I loved, like, going to the gym was my favorite thing ever. I went to school for exercise science. Like, I love it. When I was playing baseball, I enjoyed lifting weights to get better at baseball more than actually playing the game itself. But even with all that, and I love dieting, like I love eating 6 meals a day, the nutrition, everything, even with all that and having the discipline and a lot of the stuff that it takes to bodybuild, I still told myself, like, you're not good enough for whatever reason. I always grew up, I was a self-conscious person, but it really took, like, and I guess I have to credit Megan for this, like, confidence from others and support from others to kind of get me to cross that. And now, thinking about it, I really don't do that anymore. I don't compare myself to others as much. And kind of like you said, I wake up and I'm worried about checking the boxes. And that's something I've always told, like, clients and friends, is that's all you can do. Like, when it comes to your job or when it comes to bodybuilding, it's you wake up, you check off the boxes, and you get on to the next day. If you can stack day after day after day doing that, you're going to be amazed what you accomplish 6 months down the road, a year down the road. And I think that's where bodybuilding has kind of just been a metaphor to, like, my life. Is it's just that day at a time approach, and if you keep adding up the good days, something really special is going to happen. And that's why I love it.
And even with, like, checking off the boxes, and I know people are going to be more meticulous than others with nutrition, with training, you know, the science. base lifters, even that can like stress somebody out sometimes, of like being so meticulous. I've been that meticulous before, and I've tried to be perfect every rep, every tempo, everything. And sometimes you get burnt out of that mentality. But if bodybuilding is not fun, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
And something I had to reel myself back in was, what's wrong with just being big and strong? Okay, you don't feel like doing this tempo, you don't feel like doing this many sets. Just get big and strong.
Yeah.
That's why we went to the gym in the first place. Eat food, lift heavy, have fun doing it. If you want to lift like Branch Warren and that makes you happier compared to how the internet says you should lift, do it. It's your life. Who cares?
Yep.
And if anybody judges you, fuck you.
Yeah, who cares? That's literally why, again, bodybuilding to me is just the perfect metaphor to like life. Because whatever the training style is that you enjoy, it's like live your life that way and train that way. And it's very simple. And I think that's why I love bodybuilding. It's just simple. And I take that approach to life where it's just be a good person to people. I don't really think it's that difficult. I don't think it takes that much effort. I always joke like bodybuilding, people are going to get mad. I think bodybuilding's relatively easy because it's a discipline thing. It's waking up. It's not hard to eat chicken and rice. I mean, it can get hard. Trust me, if you're eating 6,000 calories of chicken and rice, and the workouts, yeah, they're hard. But at the end of the day, we're not saving lives. I'm not performing heart surgery, lifting weights. I'm eating my food.
Yeah, like life is going to get hard either way. You have to choose what hard you want to pursue.
Hard, exactly.
That's what that means. If you want life to be easy, start. It's never going to happen. But God is going to give you an opportunity to earn an easier life. God is going to give you opportunities to earn a life worth living. If you pray for courage, God's going to give you opportunities to be courageous. Before the stabbing happened, it's been so long since I was an EMT, I didn't even know if I could do that sort of thing anymore. I'm not saying God made him get stabbed, but it gave me the confidence, I am that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep.
If you pray God for money, he's going to give you opportunities to make money. Your friend's going to hit you up like, hey, I'll give you $200 if you help me move. Just like the ideas I had at Powerhouse, I prayed that I would have opportunities to bring my ideas to life. And when so-and-so said no or not yet to a podcast, fuck you. Look at me now. I'll do it my goddamn self.
Yeah, a lot of those people I'm trying to separate from in life. The people that constantly judging others, constantly worrying about people being out to get them, self-conscious about their own insecurities, that they always need to talk about everything they've done and accomplished in their life and their successes. And those are people I want to stay the hell away from. People that like to turn down others, people that are just, they suck the energy out of the freaking room. And those people know who they are. So I don't even need to say it.
I mean, I am super grateful because it gave me a home when I literally needed it.
Yeah.
I've never been that creative and passionate about something in my entire life. I have never in my entire life had like a notebook full of ideas, and the only thing that pulled the trigger was me just writing down a few things. I showed you my notebook. This was like a week into me working at Powerhouse, and you pulled the trigger and said, "You should run your own event." I was like, "What? I just got here. I'm not a business person. I'm not a promoter. I'm literally just a dude." But one posing event later.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's always been my mindset with like managing employees and stuff, is like empowering people. And if people are passionate about something, I mean, that's always the missing ingredient with success. Like if you're not passionate, you're not going to succeed. And the number one thing that I could say about you is, goddamn, are you passionate? And when you have something that you want to do, you want to do it. My job is to kind of support you in making that happen. And my thought process, just that's how I've always thought about things in life, is if you have ideas, you go for it. The worst case, it doesn't work. You learn from it and you do it again next time. If it's not going to hurt someone, I don't understand shooting down things. I've always been something or someone when you have an idea, go for it. Because how are you going to know? You're never going to know.
Yeah, like I'm not like making like money, but I'm literally using every single penny I have into said passions. I probably should do the responsible thing, like have a savings account. That's probably why I need like a financial advisor on here for an episode. Not for the people, but for me.
Yeah.
But like I'm using literally every penny I have into, look, we made this happen. I now know what to do with the sword I brought in the one day. Mm-hmm. So like, look out for a sword around right here. Yeah, I imported a sword from Spain. What do you think about that?
He's not kidding.
I'm not kidding. You saw it in the office.
I sure did.
What was your reaction when, like, I don't even think I was there, a sword all of a sudden appeared in your office?
Nothing ever surprises me. Good or bad. That's why, yeah, I mean, that's why I was excited to talk to you, just because it's like I never know what to expect. So I appreciate it. I appreciate like your passion for, there's not a lot of people that anything they do it 100%, and you're one of those people. So I appreciate that about you. We all have our stuff that we need to work on. We're all trying to grow. We all have our struggles. I think now you have an opportunity to be an example to a lot of people. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
and I'm pretty like blunt with like what I say too. What did you say when, like, right before I entered the office, like, "Oh, have you met John? Get ready."
You're about to.
Yeah, and I think I said it like totally like unhinged too. I think he said like something about like, "You're crazy," and I said, the first day I met him, I was like, "Yeah, I don't suffer from autism. I just have it." And you were just speechless.
As I am now.
Don't cancel me. Relax. For 4 years, I ate crayons for a living. What do you want? I'm a dude who started a podcast so I could say whatever I want. But I mean, I think this opportunity is like so awesome for me to literally be at rock bottom, get out of the hospital, and honestly be sitting in this chair. For me, being in like a studio in general is such a surreal experience. Getting to do this is such a surreal experience. After watching Seth Feroce start the HWMF podcast, watching Chris Williamson on Modern Wisdom, watching Joe Rogan literally do whatever the fuck he wants, from doing smelling salts to smoking weed in the studio, having anyone and everyone on the podcast. I'm not going to get to that level, but as far as talking to anyone and everyone from all walks of life, you don't need to be this person with X amount of followers. You don't need to be this high up person in the industry. Like I have people scheduled like right now, regular people just like you and me, because they have a damn good story and a damn good message, and they don't have to have social media. They just need a way for me to contact them, because I don't want necessarily like billionaires, CEOs on the podcast, although that would be pretty cool. But real people with real experiences, real stories and experiences about like God, how people treated them, what made them feel worthy of like the life they have. Are they still battling through something? Are they still, trying to find that chase? It's like, it was just like me at Powerhouse. I wanted to treat these amateur guys like pros because they carried themselves like pros, and let's be honest, they kind of look like it. What's up, Jake? I wanted to give them opportunities to have that like pro experience. So if I can give somebody with, like I said, that real story and that real message, professional treatment, maybe they've watched a podcast, but they've never had opportunities to speak their mind or educate people. This is their opportunity. This is their opportunity to get their message out there, and it's not just the same firecracker voice talking about whatever. It's important that we talk to anyone and everyone, not just people we always agree with. We need to have these discussions in order to grow, in order to see different perspectives. And that's what the human experience is.
I'm just personally happy to see that you're doing the thing now.
Wait till I get my own like bodybuilding show and start doing the things.
And last thing I'll say is don't limit yourself. Who knows? Could be the next Joe Rogan, Chris Williamson. Like we kind of talked about earlier, one foot in front of the other, day by day.
Yeah, I went from a Marine not knowing what he wanted to do to I'm in a suit in a podcast studio. I am free balling it. But right before the episode ends, I wanted to, speaking of bodybuilding shows, promote a new bodybuilding show coming to King of Prussia, the Philly Classic. What do you know about the Philly Classic?
I've been to the Philly Classic a bunch of times. When they used to have in the Valley Forge Casino, I was there a couple times. Megan competed in it about 3 years ago. It was actually the first show she ever did.
Oh, no, not the Philly Classic, the Philly Iron Classic. It's coming here.
Oh.
It's going to be a show here in King of Prussia. April 19th, 2026 is the Philly Iron Classic right here in King of Prussia, promoted by Fred Biggie Smalls, who I'm also going to have here as a guest, so he can talk more about it. But honestly, King of Prussia is like the best place to have a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. But yeah, this has been John Wandling and
Owen Goryl.
this has been the Iron Axiom. God bless.